To the surprise of absolutely everyone, Sega somehow had one of the best years of gaming in 2024, which is rather unusual for them to do. At the end of 2023, they left us with a bombshell showing us the Power Surge lineup. Brand new reboots of their older IPs like Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Crazy Taxi. I'd say it was the biggest surprise at the Game Awards. It got a lot of people, especially me, excited for the future. After that reveal, for 2024, Sega decides, you know what? Let's start making some good games, and all of their divisions decided to lock in. Starting with Atlus, we got Persona 3 Reload, a remake of one of their most important games, receiving widespread critical acclaim and becoming one of their fastest selling games. Even if divisive amongst fans, Persona 3 Reload was a success. Then we got SMT Vengeance, the usual enhanced re-release that Atlus usually does, this time for SMT5, and this game also received really good reviews, as well as essentially saving SMT5's rep after its lackluster release on the Nintendo Switch. Then to top it off, we have Game of the Year nominee Metaphor ReFantazio. Their brand new IP sells 1 million in a day and is one of their most highly praised games of that year. Some even say this is Atlus' best game to date. For a new IP, this is huge for them. They cooked. Then we also have RGG giving us the next mainline installment of the Yakuza series with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, also selling really well and receiving lots of positive reviews. Not only that, but to my surprise, they also developed the latest Super Monkey Ball game. While it wasn't anything crazy, it did do moderately well and I certainly thought it was kinda fun. RGG had an overall pretty chill 2024. Atlus and RGG are the Kobe and Shaq of Sega. Also, RGG, please put this Monkey Ball game on other platforms. Please, I want to play it so bad. It was all up to Sonic Team to somehow wrap up 2024 in a nice little bow with Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, the initial reaction is probably, well, this is Sonic Team. Of course they're going to screw up. Plot twist, they somehow didn't screw up this time. Shadow Generations gets a mostly positive critical reception, the highest one in a long time for Sonic. They somehow did it. They didn't fumble their next big Sonic release, all thanks to Shadow the Hedgehog. Speaking of Shadow the Hedgehog, to move away from the games real quick, Sonic Movie 3 released in 2024, and with new information, we now know it has grossed over $490 million. I gotta give props. Sega actually dropped some good games last year, which makes their idiotic decision to delist all their classic games from most platforms even more frustrating. Easily the worst decision they made last year to sour their good faith. I mean, they are a major corporate company after all, they can't always be trusted. So, what could Sega be cooking up for 2025 and 2026? RGG is pretty stacked. They just released Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which I actually finished not too long ago, and I absolutely loved it. I know it's not every Yakuza fan's cup of tea, but I thought it was very fun to play most of the way through. Plus, it's the only Yakuza game I got a platinum trophy on, so yippee. There is also Yakuza 0 Director's Cut that's going to be launching with the Nintendo Switch 2. It's Yakuza 0 again, but now there's going to be an English and Chinese dub, an online multiplayer which looks pretty mid if I'm gonna be honest, and brand new cutscenes. I'm glad Switch users will get to experience such a great game. I mean, I love Yakuza 0, but I don't think it's worth a $50 price tag when the original Yakuza 0 is $20 everywhere else. Don't be surprised if they delist the original Yakuza 0 to force you to get Director's Cut when it stopped being a timed exclusive. They did the same thing with the original Ishin when Ishin Kiwami came out. Not only are they working on their brand new game Project Century, but they are also in charge of the new Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter 5 recently got a big new update with Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. Not only was it a brand new balance patch and the game can now be played up to 4K, but it's also coming to all modern consoles, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch 2 with crossplay and rollback netcode. This is great. Virtua Fighter will still be in the public eye for quite a while as we get more news on Virtua Fighter 6. Glad more people will be able to enjoy Virtua Fighter. Atlus has two things lined up this year. The first one being the Raido remaster, which is a remaster of the PS2 game Devil Summoner Raido vs. the Soulless Army. This game will be coming out on June 19th. Never played the original game, but I might check this game out in the future. Then we also have the announcement that Persona 5 The Phantom X is going to have a global release, coming out on June 26th. It's a gacha game. I'm not really into those. I already sold my soul to Fire Emblem Heroes to say that, and it is not worth it. I still love you, Bernadetta. So, I'm going to be skipping Persona 5 X, but I'm sure there's people who will be there to play it. That's not all, though. There is one more thing that might be coming from Atlus, and it's something I am mixed on. A month ago, there was a domain that was updated for P4RE, which implies that a Persona 4 remake is potentially coming, which... why? I mean, I'm not particularly going to complain. I can see why this is happening. They want to make a version of Persona 4 that's consistent with Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Royal in terms of gameplay. However, Persona 4 definitely doesn't need a remake in my honest opinion. We just got an updated version of the Steam port that's perfectly fine. It's on every console as well, so it's not suffering from the same issues Persona 3 was previously dealing with. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if this remake will come to fruition, but I'm not 100% thrilled about it. I will speculate it will be called something like Persona 4 Rewind, Persona 4 Rewatch, or Persona 4 Retake, just to go with the TV theme. As for Sonic, we have Sonic Rumble coming out globally. At some point, who knows at this point. It keeps getting delayed, which has depleted my interest in the game. I'll probably still check it out when it finally releases everywhere else, but they've definitely killed the hype for this game with the delays. We also have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, the fourth installment of the Sonic Racing series, which I'm still a little skeptical on despite kinda liking the beta. I didn't like Team Sonic Racing at all. The first game, and especially Transform, still hold a special place in my heart, so I hope it just turns out as good as those games. So, what about the Power Surge lineup? Have we gotten any updates on those? Yes, actually. Sega has been heavily pushing Shinobi Art of Vengeance on their social media pages, and is going to be coming out on August 29th. I've been following this game a lot, and it looks crazy fun. I never played any of the Shinobi games on the Genesis, but seeing this game kinda makes me want to go back to try them. You can currently purchase Shinobi on Steam for $27, a discount from their base $30 price tag. I actually want to point this out, this game is going to be $30 USD, not fully priced. One of my biggest worries going into these revivals were that they were going to be released at full price, which would immediately turn people away, honestly. With IPs that haven't seen a game in a long time, a $70 price tag would have them dead on arrival. So it makes me glad that at least for Shinobi, it's at a reasonable price. There is another game that got an update on its status, not as big, but significant enough to where we could place some eyes on future events. So a little while ago, there was word that there will be a Jet Set Radio collab for the rollerblading brand Them Skates. Now, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, yeah, makes sense. Getting a collab with one of the most notable skating games as a rollerblading brand makes sense. The most noticeable part comes in what's happening on May 30th and 31st. It's going to be the Blading Cup over there in France, and if you look on the bottom right of this image, you can see a brand new Jet Set Radio logo with a 25 behind it. Now, my eyes were locked in. A 25th anniversary logo? I know this is probably a weird thing to get excited about, but they never even did something like this for Jet Set Radio's 20th anniversary. So, seeing this is surreal. An official 25th anniversary logo. Another noteworthy thing that's happening is that Sega will be appearing at the Las Vegas Licensing Expo with some potential announcements for their IPs during May 20th to the 22nd. Then, in about 3 weeks, we're about to have Summer Games Fest. Things are certainly lining up. Not saying things are for sure happening, but we do have things to look out for about the Sega revivals, especially for Jet Set Radio as we approach its 25th anniversary in June. Lots of exciting things are happening for Sega in 2025 and 2026. With all these things in mind, there is something that needs to be stressed. Sega cannot, and I mean cannot, fumble the bag with any of these games. Now, in general, Sega shouldn't be giving us a shoddy product of any kind, no matter the IP. However, the main thing that they absolutely cannot screw up is the Power Surge lineup. This is a big deal. This is a revival of multiple IPs that hasn't gotten a new installment in a long time. Now they have been given bigger budgets for their new reboots. Sega is going all out for this Power Surge lineup. These games need to succeed. Not one of them can suck. The Shinobi reboot is going to be the first game from the Power Surge lineup, and it does look amazing. This game needs to do well. I think even moderately successful can still be fine. Sega needs to lock in and make sure that these games are polished, and we as fans of these IPs have to be there to support these games, if they actually deliver in being good games, of course. Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi especially have to do well. These have been some of the most requested games for Sega to return to, and these are the most anticipated games from that lineup. If these games fail, it's over. We will never have something like this happen again if they fail. The potential for something like Knights, Space Channel 5, Shenmue, if there's any hope for these games to get a chance, the Power Surge lineup needs to succeed. Even with my excitement, I am just worried about how things will turn out. This is Sega after all, and I always have to view it as if there's a chance that something can go wrong, it will go wrong. I would like to be proven otherwise, but that is a gamble. Sega has some cool things coming for the next 2 years. My only hope is that they can keep this momentum that they built up from 2024 and actually prosper. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.